Welcome. We're going to go ahead and get started. We may have a few others join us and keep an eye on that, but my name is Leslie Carey. I am an owner and volunteer with the Ownership and Outreach Committee. Thanks for joining us tonight. This month's Spring into Wellness event is beginning your meditation and mindfulness practice. Just as a reminder, tonight's workshop is being recorded. So our goal with these workshops is to offer our community opportunities to learn and connect with one another and to celebrate how diverse and varied our community's interests can be. So for the next couple of months, we'll be featuring a couple different workshops just to highlight what our community can offer. And we'll go ahead and also use this as an opportunity to give just a little bit of a sneak peek at some of the events that we can actually hold in the educational space that will exist in our grocery store. So onto our specific workshop tonight. We're pleased to have Prairie Food Co-op owner Quinn Coulson leading tonight's class. She is a self-taught meditation and mindfulness practitioner. Tonight, she's going to share the benefits of a regular meditation meditation practice and some tips for getting started in your practice and where to find resources and more information. We're going to end the workshop with a short 10 to 15 minute guided meditation as well, led by Quinn. We'll also have an opportunity at the end to ask a couple questions of Quinn about what you learned today or maybe about your own practice if you have been practicing. So with that, I'll turn it over to Quinn.
Thank you so much, Leslie. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I couldn't have picked a better Monday for a mindfulness and meditation practice. Part of my mindfulness and meditation practice involves gratitude. And today I am grateful that the birds were chirping, the sun was shining, the snow was melting. Just a little bit about me and, just to qualify why I wanted to speak with you all about meditation and mindfulness this evening. So I've been meditating on and off for about 5 years. So that's actually not very long in the grand scheme of things, but meditation and mindfulness is not something you master. That's why it's called a practice. You don't become an expert in it necessarily. You might become a trained professional, like we will talk about with some transcendental meditation teachers. But I am a big fan of meditation and mindfulness when it comes to stress management. It's helped tremendously with my anxiety. I actually also use it for various other areas of my life, like managing a little bit of depression that I experienced when I first started meditating. It really helped with that. I also really lean on it lately because I am expecting my first child at the end of June. And as you can imagine, that is a little stressful, but with meditation and mindfulness, I have found a new way of tapping into some serenity and some peace, and also just connecting with not only myself, but with my future child, with my stepdaughter, with my husband, and with a lot of friends that I've also made, just getting to know them through, various forms where we all have that in common, that we do like to meditate and practice different forms of meditation. So with all that being said, I do want to talk a little bit about the history of meditation. So meditation dates as far back as 5000 BCE. So that's archaeologists have said that they've found evidence that there were humans who were meditating as early as 5000 BCE. And the practice itself has religious ties in ancient Egypt and China, as well as Judaism, Hinduism, Sikhism, of course, Buddhism. And its global spread really began when the Silk Road was formed and in use around 5 or 6 centuries BCE. And the practice moved throughout Asia as a result. And every time it arrived in a new area of the world, just like pretty much anything else in history, it changed a little bit to fit whatever culture it was in at that moment in time. But it wasn't really until the 20th century that it began to be more of a spiritual practice, not as associated with religions, and that's especially here in the West. And what really happened was that it began to be seriously studied for its medical benefits, especially in the 60s. There was a researcher, B.K. Anand in India, who found that yogis were meditating themselves into trances so deep that they didn't feel when hot test tubes were held up against the skin of their arms. So it was really fascinating, as you can imagine, to research why or how these people were able to transcend physical pain with just their minds. And then in 1967, Dr. Herbert Benson at Harvard Medical School found that people who were meditating were using 17% less oxygen. They were lowering their heart rates, and their brain waves were highly conducive to helping them with sleeping better. In 1975, Time featured transcendental meditation in a story about the Beatles, because apparently the Beatles were huge practitioners of transcendental meditation because it helped them cope with how quickly and how strangely they became globally famous. They even actually went to India to study a little bit deeper. And that's where it kind of took off as far as pop culture goes. And as we all know, once pop culture sinks its teeth into something, it tends to take off in some way, shape, or form, whether that's good or bad. And the popularity was boosted by the hippie movement of the 60s and the 70s. As you can imagine, that movement welcomed meditation and mindfulness centers like the Assailant Institute. If any of you are Mad Men fans, I threw this in there because my husband is. The final scene in the finale, Don Draper is actually in that meditation center. So it really took off with that movement in the 60s and 70s. And then by the 90s, science and Hollywood met in the middle, and the outcome was this health-focused, wellness-based concept that made it not just for hippies anymore. So in 1996, Time reported on Deepak Chopra's Ageless Body, Timeless Mind, and the book sold in 137 copies in just one day after he was featured on Oprah. NBA coach Phil Jackson published Sacred Hoops, Spiritual Lessons of a Hardwood Warrior in 1995. Stephen Curry, better known as Steph Curry, NBA MVP basketball player, also practices mindfulness and uses it a lot when he asked how he manages his stress and how he increases his focus and his mental clarity and his performance. And from there, studies just continue to roll in, confirming the benefits. A lot of them are on the smaller side. They have tended to gotten bigger over the years as people have obviously bought into it and become more aware of the benefits that meditation and mindfulness can bring. So just a few statistics here, because I am a little bit of a numbers person. It's actually estimated that anywhere from 400 to 500 million people meditate worldwide. And over 14% of Americans have meditated at least once, actually. Pew Research Center's research indicates that that number actually might be higher because up to 40% of United States adults have said that they meditate at least once per week. The CDC also has a report, the use of yoga, meditation, and chiropractors among US adults aged 18 and older found that the percentage of people who use meditation has increased considerably, especially starting in the year 2012, because before that, actually in the year 2012 specifically, only 4.1% of Americans had said that they meditated in the previous year. Meditation also improves anxiety levels up to 60% of the time. So what that means is that in a study, there was a group of folks who were meditating for anywhere from 6 to 9 months. And about 60% of those folks reported that after meditating for 6 to 9 months, they were able to reduce their anxiety levels. Meditation can also reduce the risk of being hospitalized for coronary disease by 87% because it is a relaxation technique. It relieves stress, and obviously stress can lead to many medical conditions. Personally, when I get stressed out, I get tummy issues, I get headaches, I have trouble sleeping. When I meditate, all of those things tend to improve at least a little bit. And that is definitely backed by science as well. There was another study where the majority of people with insomnia who meditated on a daily basis were able to fall asleep more quickly. 75% of them needed less than 20 minutes to doze off, when before they needed much more time than that. And 91% of them reduced or eliminated their use of sleeping medication. So that's actually another reason why I meditate, being that I have a bit of a sleeping problem. I always have, ever since I was a little kid. I would stay up late and toss and turn and go and wake up my sister, my parents, say, I can't sleep. And that did not go away, unfortunately. Sorry to those of you who are parents. You might just have a kiddo on your hands who has difficulty sleeping, but that's why we're here tonight, to talk about a way that you might be able to help them, because I have found that meditation helped this insomniac immensely. I used to take melatonin to manage, to at least make myself fall asleep, but I could never stay asleep. And with meditating, I found that I at least can fall asleep without melatonin and stay asleep a lot longer, if not through the night. Mindfulness meditation also helps people with back pain improve their ability to do daily tasks by 30%. That is a physical benefit to the practice as well. And just to throw another number out here for you, the projected value of the US meditation market for this year is about $2 billion. So that's pretty huge. It just goes to show you that in just a few decades, less than 100 years, something has gone from being basically just a religious practice that was only used for connection with, a God of that religion's understanding. And now it's become such a important part of so many people's lives that it has expanded well beyond that. So we already talked about a little bit of this, but why practice it? It increases your memory, your emotional stability, your concentration. It reinvigorates you, gives you energy, reduces risks of heart attack, eases the effects of depression or anxiety, stimulates your mind, and helps alleviate sleeping issues thanks to its relaxing nature. I've used meditation, and we'll talk about some of the ways, it's not always just you're laying down in a dark room for 25 minutes in silence. I've used meditation sitting at my desk at work. I actually did it this morning. I got a little stressed out about something that was going on at the office. So I just put in my AirPods, I put on a little bit of soothing music, and for 5 minutes, just focused on my breath. And what do you know? I made it out of the office alive. I'm here with all of you, and I didn't start any fights or snap at anyone or be passive aggressive when I didn't have to be. So just another benefit there. You don't need to make it perfect. That's why it's called a practice. And it has many, many uses and ways that you can plug in to really experience the benefits. So one of the things I like to talk about, and I already kind of alluded to this, is how it can benefit kids. Kids nowadays are tired. I know I'm tired, but I know that my almost 11-year-old stepdaughter, kid's exhausted by Friday between after school activities and sitting in class all day and, spending time with her friends and keeping up with homework and Girl Scouts and art classes after school. She needs an opportunity to take a time out, just like any of us do. Doesn't matter how old you are. You could be an adult, you could be a child. We all need some time to unplug, to relax, and to refocus. And meditation offers this break and actually does help kids function more effectively and clearly. So the American Academy of Pediatrics actually encourages parents to share meditation with their children, and also encourages teachers to incorporate mindfulness training into their lesson plans. In fact, some research has also shown benefits for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, anxiety, depression, school performance, sleep, behavior problems, and eating disorders. Just to give you a little case study here, Robert W. Coleman Elementary is a Baltimore school where they instituted a mindfulness and meditation program. And in the first 2 years of the program, they reported exactly 0 suspensions. So this was a school that was having a little bit of a behavioral issue with some of their students. They couldn't figure out, how to better serve those students that just kept acting out in class. They introduced this mindfulness and meditation program, and it actually helped those kids to refocus and find a better outlet for their stress or their anxiety. And they stopped getting in trouble in class, which is pretty amazing. And research also shows there was a trial of 300 low-income urban middle schoolers that were using school-based mindfulness instruction, and that they had improved psychological functioning and lower levels of post-traumatic stress disorder symptoms. So benefits for the kids as well. And again, you don't have to make your kids sit in a dark room in complete silence, with their hands in prayer. This is just a picture. You can sit however you're comfortable, and you'll see that they appreciate it too. I mean, it can be hard to get your kids to sit still for more than a few minutes, but you really only need a few minutes a day to even start to feel the benefits of it. So now to get into the good stuff here, there's actually 9 types of meditation, 9 major types, and a couple of them overlap. And some practices, you'll incorporate many of these. So we have mindfulness, which is paying attention to your thoughts as they pass through your mind without judging them or letting them overtake you. I like to think of it as almost like slips of paper. Your thought comes in about something that your neighbor said to you that kind of ticked you off. Rather than dwelling on it and feeling that anger and letting it overcome you, you kind of just acknowledge it and let it float away. Spiritual focuses on developing a deeper understanding of spiritual religious meaning and connection with a higher power. This is really the form of meditation that is most used in religious practices. Focused meditation is concentration using any of the 5 senses. Movement is an active form of meditation, where you're using movement to guide you into a deeper connection with your body in the present moment. Mantra meditation is a repetitive sound, word, or phrase. A lot of people think the word Om or the phrase Om while you are meditating. Transcendental is also uses a mantra. As I said, some of these do overlap, and is designed to quiet the mind and induce a state of calm and peace. Progressive meditation is aimed at reducing tension in the body and promoting relaxation. This is actually the kind of meditation that we'll be doing at the end of this workshop, also known as a body scan meditation. A couple different ways to do it, and we'll just try one of them tonight. Loving kindness meditation is used to strengthen feelings of compassion, kindness, and acceptance towards oneself and others. Visualization, focused on enhancing relaxation, peace, and calmness by visualizing positive scenes, images, or figures. So just to give a little bit more detail into each of these types, I do like to discuss all of them because it truly is not a one size fits all thing. You don't have to conform to one set process or type of meditation. Everybody does it a little bit differently. I have several friends who meditate, and not a single one of us has a practice that looks the same as someone else. So mindfulness meditation is actually the one that originates from Buddhist teachings and is the most popular type of meditation now in the West. And it is, like I said, you're simply observing and taking note of thoughts and patterns as they pass through your mind. You're not taking action or passing judgment. So it's a combination of concentration and awareness. So like I said, the way I like to think about it is, slips of paper, or even just, like little wisps of cloud floating through my brain. And the idea is maybe you touch it, maybe you read it, or you look at it, or you let yourself acknowledge it for just a moment, and then you let it go. You turn it over. You let it float away and not stick to you for too long in that moment. So this is actually a really good one for you to do by yourself. If you wanted to just try it out on your own. I often, when I use mindfulness meditation, it's if I'm upset about something and I don't really know what it is, I'll kind of just sit there and let the thoughts come to me. And again, acknowledge them, but not dwell, take action, or pass judgment. Spiritual meditation. So this is another one where other types of meditation can kind of fall into this bucket, but it is more often for those seeking spiritual growth or a deeper connection to a higher power. And some of you may know it as, contemplative prayer. There's Jewish practices that use it. Basically, any sort of prayer or reflection can be considered spiritual meditation, because again, you are looking for specifically spiritual growth. You are maybe trying to enlarge in your spiritual life. Again, it doesn't have to be religious. Maybe you just believe in a higher power or Mother Nature or the spirit of the universe. I've heard friends refer to all of those things. And again, it's not a one size fits all. So whatever that deeper connection that you're looking for might be, you can use spiritual meditation to tap into that. Focused meditation. So this is actually another pretty common one, especially for beginners, because again, you can practice it by yourself. It may seem simple. That being said, it's a good one for beginners because it may seem simple, but don't let yourself get discouraged. So the idea here is that you're focusing on something internal, either internal, like your breath. That's a really simple one. I used to assign a color to my breath. The teal is my favorite color. It's very calming to me. I have a teal case on my phone. I have a teal water. Like I'm literally looking at 5 teal things just within this little area of my desk. And I would assign that color to my breath and just picture it, going in through my nostrils, sinking down the back of my throat into my lungs, filling up my belly, and then coming back out and repeat, and so on and so forth. But you can also bring in external items as well to help focus your attention. So that can mean mala beads or even a rosary, if that is something that you prefer. You can listen to a gong or a sound bowl. There's actually plenty of resources on YouTube. I've even seen it on TikTok for those of you who might use the social platform, or even Instagram, where people will literally just for hours play their sound bowls with the idea that you can use it to study or meditate or sleep even. You can stare at a candle flame. So this is also a good one, especially with kids. I found that it's good. Focused meditation is really good for kids to help them, give them something tangible that they can, for lack of a better term, focus on in order to really dial in and relax and center themselves. Counting your breaths, like I said, or maybe even assigning a color to your breath so that you can count it, and moon gazing. And again, this might seem simple, but just don't be discouraged if at first you can't hold your focus for longer than a few minutes. And that really goes for any meditation. Mindfulness meditation is the same thing. It might get frustrating if you're going, oh man, I can't stop dwelling on this thought. Again, it's a practice. It's not meant to be perfect. So don't be hard on yourself. At first, you might only be able to do this for 2-3 minutes. And that's completely okay, because the more you do it, the easier it gets. And before you know it, you'll set a timer for 10 minutes, say, and the timer goes off and you're like, where did those 10 minutes go? I can't tell you how many times that happens to me. And again, it does not need to be 25-30 minutes in silence in the dark. You can literally start out with just a couple minutes a day. Movement meditation is actually one of my favorites. And most people would think like yoga, right? But it can include any sort of, I don't want to call it mindless, but, relaxing, not like high energy exercise, but it might be high energy because maybe you like to lift weights, or for me, I like to row. And I have a rowing machine that has a water wheel instead of an air wheel. And sometimes I'll just take out my AirPods and I'll be listening to a podcast. I'll stop listening to it And I'll just listen to the sound of the water going around and the repetitive motion of rowing. And that can be meditation too, because I'm really just focusing on the movement of my body and what all the different muscle groups and what my hands are doing, what my shoulders are doing, what my knees are doing. You can take it out on a walk on the prairie path, or maybe if you're a runner or a jogger or a biker. Gardening can also be considered movement meditation, especially, you know, if you're weeding, it's something that maybe you can just like turn off your thoughts and just kind of focus on pruning your plants, or maybe you want to pay special attention to that cute little caterpillar that's eating your tomatoes. Again, gardening is a great one. Tai Chi is also a great one. I know some of the park districts put on Tai Chi classes as well. And this is good for people who find peace in action and also want to develop body awareness. So if you're somebody who doesn't really like to sit still, or maybe sitting still makes you antsy, or it makes you more anxious to try and, you know, just focus on your thoughts or on a burning candle, movement meditation is probably a really good option for you as well. Mantra meditation is prominent in many teachings and religions, including Hinduism and Buddhism. And the mantra can be spoken quietly or loudly. And after chanting for some time, you'll find yourself more alert and in tune with your environment. So this can be, like I said, it can be Om, it can be the word peace, it could be the word grateful, and oftentimes people will put it in the present tense and apply it to themselves. So I am grateful, or I am at peace, or I am strong, or I am light. And you just repeat it over and over again. And it's kind of like an affirmation in a sense, in that the more you say it, the more you start to believe it, and the more focused and calm you get. And some people just enjoy it because they like feeling the vibration of the sound in their body, especially with Om is a big one, because you can feel it, you know, in the back of your throat, on your lips, you know, on your tongue. It's kind of like that humming, that internal buzzing. And that could be really good for somebody who also maybe doesn't like silence, but really likes repetition. Transcendental meditation was founded by Maharishi Mahesh and is best taught by a certified instructor, which I am not. So you can, again, Google is a great resource for looking for classes. There are transcendental meditation courses that are taught both virtually and in person. And it also involves the use of a mantra, and is a great approach for people who like that hands-on learning atmosphere. Maybe you want something that's more accessible to actually get really deep into everything meditation can offer without having to be self-guided or, you know, try on 10 different things to figure out what works for you. Progressive meditation often involves slowly tightening and relaxing a muscle group or body part at a time. And some cases also will encourage you to imagine a gentle wave or light flowing to every part of your body to help release any tension. So this is what we talked about being what we will be doing in a few minutes here, called a body scan meditation. And this one is also really good for kids, I have found, and also for beginners, because it, again, helps you have something tangible. You're not just, you know, trying to let go of thoughts or repeat a mantra to yourself. It's very beginner friendly in the sense that you can just tune into the different parts of your body, become more aware of how they're feeling, how you're feeling, maybe just how they're interacting with your surroundings. And it's a really great way of relieving stress and unwinding before bed. So again, that's why we're doing it tonight, to kind of get your Monday all settled in, get you ready for the week ahead. Loving kindness meditation involves opening your mind to receiving love from others, as well as sending it out to others. This one's really good for those holding feelings of anger or resentment. So the idea here is that you want to release all of that ick, all of that funk, all of that bad stuff, the negativity that is, you know, festering, and fill it instead with love and light and peace. not just for yourself and for others, not just for others rather, but for yourself. Because oftentimes, at least for me, I find that when I'm feeling extra gross, I typically need to give myself a little extra love and self-care in order to be a better person out there in the world. And finally, visualization meditation. This involves imagining a scene vividly and using all 5 senses to add as much detail as possible. So if you've ever heard of, like, you're on a beach, you can hear the waves crashing and the seagulls, and maybe you can smell some coconut water that's from a coconut that just fell off a tree, or you're on a mountaintop and, you can feel the breeze and hear the eagles. That's a visualization meditation. And again, you're using all 5 senses. So you want to hear it, you want to feel it, you want to smell it, taste it if possible. It can also be a form of manifestation if you want to imagine yourself succeeding in a certain goal, to increase focus or motivation. So maybe you want to psych yourself up before a job interview. So you picture yourself absolutely killing it at the interview, getting that job offer, walking on your first day. You're visualizing what your new office looks like, what that outfit you're wearing on the first day looks like, maybe what you're eating for lunch that day to celebrate. Or maybe for kids, we're talking about, helping them get focused and maybe decrease some stress before, say, their first soccer game or their first orchestra concert. So they might sit there and picture themselves scoring a goal or celebrating with their teammates after a win, or, nailing their first violin solo and everybody giving them a round of applause, a standing ovation. These are all visualization meditation examples. And it's used to boost your mood, reduce stress, and promote inner peace. So all of those things, as you can tell, have the goal of making you feel good and, go out into the world with a smile on your face and just ready to take on whatever there is out there. So one last thing here before we go into our meditation, I do want to go over some resources. We're going to spend a little bit of time here because truly the resource opportunities for meditation and mindfulness are pretty endless. The internet has made it very accessible for anyone. Like I said, you can look for classes and courses and, experts, say, in transcendental meditation, or even other like yoga studios will often have mindfulness classes as well. But you really don't need to spend money to start your practice. And that's the whole point of tonight's workshop, right? Is how we're getting a beginning on our practice. The number one resource that I recommend to everybody, it's actually where I got started, is YouTube. And the reason I don't list any YouTube channels or, specific bloggers or specific meditation playlists is because all you really have to do is go to YouTube and type in whatever it is you're looking for. Like, I have literally typed in meditation for pregnancy insomnia, and I've gotten dozens of results. Or you can type in meditation to be calmer at work, or 5-minute meditation, or meditation to boost mood, or, seriously, anything that you may want to find, it's likely on YouTube and very easily accessible and free. Sometimes people just want to find some relaxing music. You can find playlists. I've seen YouTube videos that are 8-9 hours long with the intention of you start meditating while listening to it, and then you fall asleep and the music just keeps playing in the background. Meditation for, music for studying that helps you be more mindful while you're studying or practicing something. Literally anything that you can think of, you can find on YouTube. And that is truly accurate when I say that, trust me. Podcasts are another excellent resource. And when I say podcasts, this is like Apple or Android. Also, for those of you that might still be using it, Spotify. Natural meditation is one. So Natural Meditation is hosted by somebody named Stefan Wormland. And these are longer. They're like 40 to 60 minute long episodes where he takes you through a guided meditation and discusses the practice with you. He's actually a former Tibetan Buddhist monk himself. So that's a really good one, further on in your practice, if you wanted to test out some longer meditations and also just like hear it from somebody who truly lived a lifestyle completely revolving around meditation and mindfulness. Meditation minis is great. It's each one is about 5 to 12 minutes long, really beginner friendly. This is one of the ones that I've used before in the past. 10% Happier, I put for the skeptics because it is hosted by Dan Harris, who's a journalist and former Good Morning America anchor. And he actually was a major skeptic of it himself until he had a panic attack on air and was told, like, somebody suggested meditation to him and he became completely obsessed with it. So this one is not as meditation focused as much as it's about talking about the benefits, because he brings in guests from the mindfulness world to talk about the psychology and the science behind it, as well as giving you a very straightforward, like no nonsense explanation and view on it. And just kind of taking more of the approach of self-awareness and how it can benefit you in that way. Mindful Minute is another really good one with a range of options on it, everything from 10 to 30 minute meditations. Peace Out podcast. This one's really great. It's actually for kids. And this one uses short stories for guided visualization meditation and breathing exercises. So this one's really great. Again, if you want to try it out with your kids, visualization meditation is a really good technique to use with them. Get Sleepy, as the name suggests, a great one to use before bedtime. Wake Me Up, on the opposite end of that, is morning meditation and motivation. And then Mindful Mama is actually a new one that I just found and started listening to. That is not, again, it's more like 10% Happier, where it doesn't really do meditation with you, but it talks about the benefits. And the aim here is to guide you to having a peaceful state and being calmer in your everyday life so that you can pass that on to your kids. I got a few books here too. I actually have this first one, Wherever You Go, There You Are, meditations, mindfulness meditation in everyday life. John, I don't think I'm pronouncing his name right. John Kabat-Zinn. He is an expert in the field. He, literally, this book is a national bestseller. He's written a few different meditation books, but this is kind of the go-to that a lot of people will suggest to you if you ask for a book on meditation. Practical Meditation for Beginners by Benjamin W. Decker is another really good one that goes into some different meditation techniques that you can put to work right away. Mindfulness Meditation for Beginners, same idea. And then Bedtime Meditations for Kids. This one's really fun to do with kids, 5 to 10 minute, activities. And the idea here is to make meditation fun. So they're not, again, associating it with sitting in silence. And some apps here. Most of these, actually, all of these are free to download, with the exception, the Meditation Studio is not free for Android users, but they're all free for download on Apple iPhone. And again, except for the Meditation Studio on Android as well. And they do offer some, paid upgrades. But I specifically chose these apps because you don't really need those upgrades in order to get the benefits. Insight Timer is literally one of the best, top rated, and makes lists every year. I used this a little bit in the beginning when I was first getting started and needed a little bit more guidance. Aura is a great one that gives you access to 3-minute meditations every 2 hours a day. So again, there's a paid feature to it, but 3 minutes of meditation every 2 hours daily is more than enough to get started on your practice. Smiling Mind's another good one. Exhale. This one is really great. It's made by Black and Indigenous women of color for Black and Indigenous women of color. because with specific topics around embodiment, microaggression, soul medicine, ascending. So this one's really a great option if you are wanting to explore any of those topics deeper. And then meditation studio. This one is for specific goals. So you can open up the app, and whether you want to decrease stress or get better sleep, get deeper sleep, work better, practice gratitude, be a better parent, be an entrepreneur. There's dozens of popular meditations in the free version. And again, there is a paid one for Android and an upgrade for the iPhone one, but not necessary at all. So that being said, I do want to get us started on a guided meditation, and we will come back. This will probably take us a little bit less than 10 minutes, actually. So I'm just going to reshare my screen here to get the sound. Sorry, guys. And like I said, we will have time at the end for questions. So if you have them, write them down. We'll come back with about 5 to 7 minutes left, and you can either throw them in the chat or take yourself off mute and ask away. All right, so I do want to ask first that you find a comfortable position wherever you are, whether that's in your chair or maybe on a mat on the floor, on your couch, on your bed. Just make sure you're comfortable wherever you are in this moment. Preferably feet flat on the floor, but if you prefer to sit cross-legged or even lay down, that is totally okay too. And I want you to first bring your awareness to the room around you. Take note of any sounds you hear. You know, maybe there's the hum of your furnace, or you can even hear some street traffic outside. Maybe you hear your family in the other room getting ready for bed. What are you smelling? Maybe you have a candle burning or some incense like I do. Slowly start to bring that awareness to your breath. Taking a deep inhale for a count of 3. And then an exhale for a count of 3. Keep that awareness on your breath for just a moment. You want to feel it fill your nostrils, touch the back of your throat, fill your lungs and your chest. And then feel it come back out. Feel your chest fall, your belly sink. Maybe even let out an audible sigh to really sink in. And this is a body scan meditation, so we are going to bring a little bit of light and attention to each part of our body to relax and get ourselves ready for a restful and peaceful evening. So first, bring awareness to your feet. Observe any sensations in your feet. Maybe they're a little achy. That's okay. Acknowledge it, as well as any other thoughts or emotions that might come up when you're thinking about it. Just gently breathe through them. What I want you to do is imagine with each breath that you are sending a bright light in the color of your choosing down to the soles of your feet. So with each inhale, that light is traveling through your body, down your legs, to your feet, touching that pain or any tension. And with the exhale, you're releasing it. Keep that same attention on that colored light. And now bring it to the tops of your feet. So you're wrapping your feet in that warm energy, bringing it out to your toes, from your big toe to your pinky toe. Now on your next inhale, picture that light traveling up to your ankles. Are they a little stiff or sore? Maybe you want to roll them around a little bit just to feel them. And let that light travel up to your calves, wrapping around to your shins, up to your knees. Maybe you were sitting in an office chair all day and they're a little achy. Exhale that tension. Bring in that light. Bring awareness to the front of your thighs, backs of your legs, your hamstrings, up to your hips, your pelvis, your tailbone. At this point, your entire lower body is just wrapped in that light. Moving up to your midsection, that light is starting to fill up your belly, up to your belly button. Your next inhale fills your belly with nice, fresh air. On the exhale, you're releasing the day. Bring awareness to your rib cage and the sides of your body. And with your next breath, feel your ribs expand and welcome in that warm, fresh energy. And on the exhale, all that stale energy is just released. Now that light travels up to your chest, spreading across from left shoulder to right, tracing over your collarbone and the base of your neck, wrapping around to the top of your back and your shoulders. Speaking of those shoulders, let them rest down away from your ears if you're not already. Let your shoulder blades sink down your back as that light travels down your spine. And then the light starts to radiate down your left arm. You feeling tense from your day. Maybe you're a little sore from whatever you did this weekend. Maybe you got outside for some exercise today. Bring that awareness to your bicep, your elbow, your forearm, your left wrist, your left hand. Wiggle your fingers a little bit as the light goes into your thumb, your index, your middle, your ring finger and your pinky. On your next inhale, that light travels back up your arm across your chest to your right shoulder, bicep, elbow, forearm, into your wrist, through your hand, and again out to each of your fingers, maybe giving them a little wiggle, saying hello to your thumb, right index, middle, ring, and pinky finger. Now bring that light up to your neck, into your throat. Maybe your next inhale, you feel your throat, your breath in the back of your throat. And the exhale, letting out a big sigh. Another inhale brings that light up to the top of your head. Maybe you picture a little string coming out the top of your head, just pulling you up a little straighter. Relax your jaw. Let your tongue fall from the roof of your mouth. And again, bring your awareness back to your breath. Following that color, that light, that energy, as it's now completely wrapping your body. Filling your lungs. Great gift of life. When you're ready, bring your awareness back to the room. Maybe you notice something you didn't notice before. A sound that you're never quite quiet enough to hear, or a smell that you've never quite paid attention to. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and rejoin us. We will open it up for questions.